The city of Jericho is often called the oldest city in the world. It's not just famous for the story in the Bible, but also for being one of the first places where humans ever settled. Jericho's history stretches back over 11,000 years, making it one of the earliest cities on Earth. Imagine living in a place that was thriving long before the pyramids of Egypt or the great civilizations of Mesopotamia even existed. One reason Jericho became so important is because of its natural oasis. Picture a city rising in the middle of the desert, surrounded by nothing but dust and sand, yet sustained by a constant flow of fresh water from a spring called Elisha's Fountain. This life-giving water allowed the people of Jericho to grow crops, create gardens, and build their homes. It turned the barren desert into a green paradise, filled with palm trees, dates, and rich farmland. But Jericho wasn't just about survival, it was about protection. As the people settled, they built one of the world's first defensive walls, which was nearly 3.6 meters high and 1.8 meters wide. Inside the wall stood a stone tower, towering over the city, possibly used for religious rituals or as a lookout tower to protect against enemies. This early form of fortification shows how advanced the people of Jericho were, even in the 8th millennium BCE. Can you imagine living in a city surrounded by huge walls that symbolized both safety and power? These walls, along with the abundant water, made Jericho a key stop for travelers and traders passing through the region. According to research, it's said that the earliest people of Jericho belonged to the Natufian culture. These were some of the first humans to stop wandering the land and settle in one place. They lived in mud brick houses and formed small communities, slowly learning how to farm the land and raise animals. They were skilled in making tools, and by around 7000 BCE, they had developed advanced flint tools like arrowheads, sickle blades, and axes. Over time, as more people arrived, Jericho grew into a thriving town. The city became known for its palm trees, which provided dates, a valuable food source back then. Jericho's location also made it a center for trade, where ideas, goods, and even cultural practices were exchanged between different people. Imagine walking through the busy streets of Jericho, hearing the sounds of merchants trading goods and farmers working in their fields. The people here were the pioneers of settled life, laying the foundation for cities and civilizations to come. As Jericho grew, so did its spiritual practices. The large stone tower inside the city walls may have been used for religious ceremonies, indicating that the people had some form of early religion. They might have gathered at the tower to perform rituals, pray for good harvests, or offer thanks for the water that sustained them. The city's connection to its fertile land would have played a big role in their religious beliefs. The fact that Jericho could grow crops in such a harsh desert likely made the people feel deeply connected to nature and the gods of fertility. Water was life, and the oasis must have seemed like a gift from the gods. They probably celebrated the cycles of nature, the growth of crops, the harvest, and the rains, making their religion a celebration of life in an otherwise difficult environment. As Jericho continued to grow, its walls became stronger, and the city became a symbol of power in the region. It was known for its wealth, its fertile land, and its fortified defenses. The people of Jericho didn't just survive, they thrived, creating a flourishing city that became famous for its palm tree dates and its ability to grow crops in the desert. But Jericho wasn't just known for its agriculture. The city also became an important stop for traders and travelers moving through the region, which brought wealth and new ideas. Jericho became a melting pot of different cultures and innovations, making it one of the most prosperous cities of its time. It was a place of rich culture, trade, and community. Imagine living in a city that was one of the busiest and wealthiest in the region, known far and wide for its ability to turn the desert into a lush garden. But, as with many great cities, Jericho would face its downfall. According to the Bible, Jericho was the first city attacked by the Israelites after they crossed the Jordan River. Led by Joshua, the Israelites circled the city for 7 days, blowing their trumpets as they marched. On the 7th day, the walls of Jericho collapsed. and the city was taken over. This story, found in the Bible text, Joshua chapter 6, has become one of the most famous tales of faith and miracles in the Bible. But was it really the sound of trumpets that brought down the mighty walls? Some scholars believe that an earthquake may have caused the collapse, aligning with the biblical account of divine intervention, but that's on a different perspective. Meanwhile, Jericho didn't stay in ruins forever. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, the city was rebuilt several times throughout history. In the 9th century BC, Hiel the Bethelite rebuilt Jericho. But according to the Bible, he paid a terrible price. He lost both of his sons as a result of a curse placed on the city. You could find that at 1 Kings chapter 16, verse 34. Like we mentioned earlier, although some believe that Jericho's destruction was the result of a divine miracle, others suggest that natural forces like an earthquake may have been at play. Also, another legend, which surrounds Elisha's fountain. According to the Bible, the spring's waters were bitter until the prophet Elisha purified them with salt, turning them into fresh water that sustained the city for thousands of years. You can find that at 1 Kings chapter 2, verse 19 down to 22. Jericho's famous date palm trees did have a reputation of its own. They were said to have roots so deep that they could reach the underground spring, allowing them to thrive in the desert. These palms became a symbol of life and survival, growing strong despite the harsh conditions around them. During the time of Herod the Great, Jericho became even more luxurious. Herod, who ruled under the Roman Empire, chose Jericho as the site for his winter palace. The city saw the construction of grand buildings, and Herod's palace stood out from the rest of them. Eventually, he died in Jericho in 4 BC. Archaeological digs have uncovered parts of Herod's palace, including an impressive building along the Wadi Kelt, showing the influence of Roman architecture. Even today, you can still see the remains of fine buildings that once made Jericho one of the most luxurious places in the region. Jericho's story is more than just an ancient tale. It's a testament to human endurance and the ability to adapt and survive. From its early days as a small settlement to its rise as one of the most powerful cities in the ancient world, Jericho represents the first steps humanity took toward building civilizations. Its fall, rise, and fall again show the cycles of history. But Jericho always came back, standing tall through the centuries. Today, modern Jericho still exists. Close to where the ancient city once stood, visitors can explore the ruins and imagine what life was like thousands of years ago. Imagine walking through the ruins of a city that has seen thousands of years of history pass by. Wouldn't that be an encounter to look forward to? Jericho's incredible story, spanning thousands of years, makes it a fascinating window into the ancient world. Whether as the oldest city on Earth or as the backdrop to some of history's most enduring legends. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to catch up on more historical, knowledgeable aids. Well then, until next time, thanks for watching.